Hey, Shalom, Akim. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect, this teaching his word in all true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to tell you this lesson. Hate is not a forbidden emotion. Hate is not forbidden. And when you go into this world and how this system is set up, you expressing hate or your disdain or displeasure, having that emotion is you looked at as the bad guy here. Well, it's really especially concerning you taking the side of righteousness, because that's what drives the hate, being filled with the righteousness of the Lord. Well, ultimately, it will lead for you to hate organically wickedness, man. Of course, the oppression, how this system is set up, to the doctrines that's on display, the things that's accessible to these people, that vexes us, which that's the right spirit to be in. But just going back how this world is set up, that word hate, man, you a villain, man. But according to Yahweh Shemel Shai, that's the right spirit to be in. So, matter of fact, let's start off with this in the book of Psalms 119. And I'm going to get this in the NLT, actually. I think it's 105, 119 and 105. The book of Psalms, chapter 119. It's like in verse 104, it reads, "Your commandments give me understanding. No wonder I hate every false way." So as I mentioned earlier, how the Lord giving us this understanding that was going to organically lead to hating everything outside of this, man. You're going to express hatred. And not in the sense you burning shit up. We express it by bringing forth these videos, and we refrain from these things, man. You want to catch us out at a fish fry on a Friday night, with niggas, man, because we hate that. And that just because that would lead to other things, Well, as you can see when we read this again, say, "Your commandments give me understanding. No wonder I hate every false way." So us receiving this truth, you gonna hate. And a title of the video is that emotion is not forbidden. It's not like that's an emotion the Lord gave us just so you can suppress it. No. This is how you show your how you choosing your sides, man. This shows what side we stand on. Matter of fact, let's get that in the book of 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 2. And in verse 7 it reads, "And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked." Matter of fact, let's start up on this. 2 Peter 2 and verse 5, it reads, "And spare not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. So it was a world back then. It was a system in the time of Noah, and his ministry was concerning that overthrow of it by the way of the flood. And there was wickedness. It speaks about how the wickedness and violence was on the earth. And Noah wasn't with that. That's why I said he found grace in the eyes of the Lord. He walked with the Most High. Some to that, perfect paraphrase, some to that nature. Show you what side he stood on. That means he was automatically against everything else outside of that standard, man. When I say he's a preacher of righteousness, that flood, that was the solution, and he was with it, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. And we seeing, our Lord Yahushua mentioned it as in the days of Noah, as well as in the days of Lot. When you read St. Luke, the 17th chapter. Because these things is happening today, because as I mentioned, Noah, how violence was in the earth, and the corrupt minds of man was great. And, we ain't got to break down Sodom and Gomorrah. That's just a given. Just like America, we know that it's spiritual Sodom. You ain't got to go through no thorough breakdown to convince someone that. But as you can see, it said this was an example, meaning that ultimately this was going to play out in its fullness in the latter times. And this is it right here, man. It said, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So that's the elect in this lifetime. The elect is vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So matter of fact, let's see what that says in the NLT. Let's see how it's worded in NLT. It says, but the Most High, this is on 2 Peter 2:7 NLT, but the Most High also rescued Lot out of Sodom, because he was a righteous man who was sick of the shameful immorality of the wicked people around him. See? We sick of these folk. We sick of madness. We sick of smelling pork on every other fucking holiday. Whenever a nigga off, best believe he throwing at best some fucking hot freaks, some red hots on the grill, man. If they still sell those. That's just one of the many things, because even all our senses are being attacked. Matter of fact, continue on. Continue on, because our senses, from your physical sense, is being attacked. Your sight, hearing, your smell, your taste, your touch, on all levels. It says, continue on in the NLT, says, yes, Lot was a righteous man who was tormented in his soul by the wickedness he saw and heard day after day. See? Vest his righteous soul from day to day with that unlawful deeds, man. So if you here in America, or really everywhere else where the influence of Esau is at, the right spirit to be in is to be vexed. That's why I say this righteous man was tormented, because he took a side of righteousness, and that, and you in the backyard of wickedness. We playing in a way game. We in the backyard of wickedness, so it's a resistance on every play, every down. Every move is a form of resistance. We're not for this place, and just going back to the point of that hate that's not forbidden. Matter of fact, let's see what this word vexed. Let me do a little digging. vex, torture, pain, vex, torture, toil. Let's see, torment. And ultimately, this you being aggravated and agitated, that leads to you really having a strong disdain for it, man. So that's why we embrace the idea of this place being violently overthrown. We with it all the way. That's why Noah was with it. He was with the flood a lot. He was with the destruction of Sodom, man. Why you think he was down at the gates? You know? Because that judgment had to be spoken before it just didn't suddenly just start raining fire and brimstone upon that place. No, Lot was speaking on that judgment, and then ultimately it came about. But just going back to the point is that, as you can see, he was considered a righteous man for being vexed with the wickedness, man. So hate is not some that's off the chart, that's off limits with only the Lord. He's reserved for that, and even in that was the God of the Old Testament. That's back in the Bible. You can't do that no more. No, man, that's ultimately when you really go to it. This is how we want to find favor with the Lord. Let's get that. The book of Amos, chapter 5. And come. Amos 5:15, it says, hate the good and love the evil. See? So that's what we're doing. It's like, hate the evil and love the good. So like, I probably read that wrong. I'm going to read that one more again. It says, hate the evil and love the good. So this is what you're seeing. This system as a whole, and this realm, this age, is wicked, man. It's evil. And we hate everything about it, man. The comings and goings of men is fucked up. The family structure, like I said, the diets, everything is fucked up, and we hate it, man. We're vexed with it. As I mentioned earlier, our senses has been attacked. You can't really sit down and eat a meal, because if you think about it too much, it's going to start tasting different, man. So you put on a good show or something. As we read earlier, as Lot was seeing and hearing, he was seeing homos, and we see that today. Pride finna come up. You hearing fucking rave music in the back, all this shit vexing, man, being here. Oh, it talks about he that departed from evil, making himself a prey. Show you that once again, this is an away game. Everything about this place is a resistance. And it just said in the NLT how Lot was tortured on the inside being in this fucking place, man. It says, hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord power host will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. See? So us taking a stand for righteousness and expressing our displeasure and hate for the wickedness that we see here, that will lead to the Lord being gracious unto the remnant. That's the elect. Oh, and also notable mention Psalms 139. Do not I hate them that hate thee, O Lord? I hate them with a perfect hatred. And that was King David. So we in that same state, man. And how do these people show their hate for the Lord? But what you see today, how the fuck they live, and the things they accept, even the things they reject. So that and we hate them for that, So that's not a forbidden emotion. Actually, that's a healthy emotion to express, you know, and in that will lead to the Lord showing favor. So yeah, I just hope it will edifying. I like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, the teaching word and all true faith and sincerity. Shalom.